Hey guys, hey Quailonians, Christian here from Mundike. Today I feel better. As you can hear, I still have a little cold, but I'm gonna continue on the setup for the grow out cage because I have some birds in the brooder. They are 2 weeks old and they should move in there today. As you can see, it's now 5 tiers. The one tier missing is fixed. I got a spare part because I was clever enough to break some of those side stabilizers here. Anyway, speaking of stabilizers, I still have a question about that kind of stuff for the water system. Today I do the water system, and I know there's these yellow knobs, but I'm not entirely sure and I don't find the manuals, so I always wanted to try out a new feature. Since I'm a big Star Trek fan, I have a little feature built in here in this spacey setup. So I'm gonna beam myself over to Hatching Time to quickly ask them how do I mount the best way the water system. So yeah, come along on the right. Scotty, energy. Hey Bill, sorry to disturb you, but I have a quick question about my quail setup. I was just building the cage.
Oh, Christian, why don't you call customer service like everyone else?
Ah, you're right. Sorry for that. I'll get out of here. Was right, and Bill is right. I should not bother them for simple things like that. I looked it up on their YouTube channel on Hatching Time. I'm gonna put the link in the description. They have a ton of super descriptions and how-tos in there, user manual in a moving format. I like that. So I checked it out how to do that with the water system. So I better get started now. I take you along for the ride. Wherever it gets boring or repetitive, I speed up the video. And yeah, so let's get started. So those little rods, I have been told, and it's only the second time I do that. I did the brooder a while ago. So it's really the second time I do this kind of water system. It's a little bit different from the layer cage you see there in the back. So it's a little different. So this is supposed to slide in here, and you can actually decide where you want to have it, right? So if you see the hose here, I already pre-assembled that early on. I figured that part out. So you could do it in the middle, you could do it at the end. I opted to do it here at the end now, because it will be sufficient from a stability perspective that the birds don't mess too much with it. Just easier as well. Speaking of easy, right? Me with 2 left hands. It's easier to slide it on here. On my first setup, I did the water at the very end, but as you can see, the water comes down here. So I figured on this grow out setup, I want to use the middle compartment basically, but it's all an open thing here anyway. There is no middle walls on the grow out. I want to take the middle to place the water in. So that's why I place that also in the middle. Right now I don't fiddle around with those yellow things here, which normally go to mount it to the back. I'm gonna do that when my wife is around to help me to hold it there a little. Because my arms are long, but not that long. But what I figured out actually, and I'm gonna show you some detailed video about that as well. If I put it in like that, there's no way it wiggles around. But obviously what I should not forget is to get those water cups in place. So I have my little basket here where I prepared all the tools. So let's place that up here. I prepared all the tools and things I need. In regards to tool for the water setup, the only thing I'm gonna need is this cutter. That's a cutter for usually these PVC pipes, but it works really well on those hoses here as well. So that tool I'm gonna use. You could use really sharp scissors as well, I guess. That's the only tool, yeah, we're gonna use here. And now the water cups. Let's see. Open the door a bit that you can see that better. Let's check it out. So those ones snap on really nice, and I never had a water issue in the brooder either with the birds. Well, never say never. I did have one, but that was my own fault. As the birds grow, you have to grow, the water setup has to grow with them, right? So, I mean, if you have quail already, you know how they can be. They think this is a little food bath and stand in there and take a little splash party, and before you know it, your poop trays are flooded. So if you don't want that to happen, you know, twist it around, adjust it how high it should be, twist it back, right? So now the cup is much higher off the floor, so the birds cannot take a little swim in there, especially if they're smaller. In the brooder, I constantly adjust them up and down as I need them. Since this is the grow out and the birds here will be about 2 weeks old, I leave it kind of here in this middle position. I'm gonna check it out again when I bring the birds in, but that's what I plan to do. I hope this plan works out. And then we shall see, and I hope I don't have to adjust those too much, but if I have to, it's gonna be easy here from the middle. Those guys snap on really easy. It was a bit harder job on the layer. If you look back at that video, you will see I used hot water to make the plastic more flexible, right? So this looks pretty okay to me. It goes in like that. There's a little hook in the back where it can rest on. And I'm gonna rest it there. It's a bit wiggly right now, but actually not too bad at all. And I position it already where I need it. Then I then, with some help of my wife, she will go at the back of the cage, I will be at the front, and then I do this little, I have them here somewhere, those little yellow plastic things. I like that everything is kind of color coded here. Those things, they are attached to the back wall here, and this is here at the front. If you don't want to use it right now, I just take it out like that, and I'm not gonna lose them. And I do that as a last step. So, but that's pretty straightforward. So I'm gonna repeat that now one more time here. The lower parts I already did as a little practice. I'm cheating here when I make videos, believe me or not. I use technology or a practice round. Nah, come on. Everybody has their little tricks, right? If it's just that, I guess it's fine. So, I think that's a good height. Yeah. And those lovely cups again. So that's kind of the easy part. You can't mess up much, or I can't mess up much. The little thing I'm nervous about is cutting those hoses. I think there's a bit of a spare in case I cut something wrong, but not much, so I bet I don't mess that up already. That's why I thought also here, like how far I want to go when the water flows, right? I could do it to the really right side as well, if I wanted to. I figured the middle is kind of, I felt comfortable with that. Like they say, there's many ways to do things. Many ways to mess up things. So why you don't want to snap? Snap on me. I can feel I'm still not 100%. There you go. Sometimes you just have to change the perspective on things like I did, and then it's so much easier. Okay, let's snap this guy on. Yeah, much easier. Okay, so this guy is done too. Now, of course, I filled the hose out, so let me put that back in there. Right there by the back. And I position it already nice. It's a bit too high. Or, yeah. Well, we're gonna figure it out. Once the bird is coming. Yeah, I think I've lowered the floor. Can be done with one hand. Pretty cool. Yeah. Perfect. Looks good here. Yeah. That one done, that one done. That one done, that one done. Only one left, the top. Wow. I guess I don't even have to speed this part up for you. Not too boring. So now I'm gonna snap this guy on first. And the last one. Look. Stay here. I like that system. Is the height okay? Yeah, it's about the same as the other one there. This is the hardest part. So I definitely recommend if you want to position that in the middle, you have to put that in hot water, that yellow part, because I had it now in the garage, and I have a little heater in here for, I'm in Jersey, right, New Jersey. It gets cold right now, below freezing, and I don't want the water system to freeze in the layer cage behind me and this one in the future, so therefore I have a little heater in here. It's not really to keep the birds comfortable, even though that's a nice side effect, I think, that they have it a little warmer. You know, I mean, they produce body heat, but I don't have that many in this new setup yet, so I help it a little bit with the heater when it's extremely cold. I just don't want to risk that any of these pipes, what I have there as well, the long ones, that they burst. And it's never fun to deal with frozen water on the farm anyway, right? So I calculate that into the cost of the eggs. And speaking of the eggs, when it's really freezing, I mean, this setup yet is not for hatching eggs anyway, but the other one is. And I think I looked it up the other day. Science says if eggs get below freezing, obviously, I mean, it makes common sense, right? They can start to crack, then you can't hatch them anymore. I have to Google it to be exact with the degrees, but I think they said something around below 40, it gets risky in regards to the hatch rates, right? Obviously, when they freeze, they don't do well at all. So there is sometimes customers who tell me, oh, my eggs were sitting in the mailbox overnight, right? You can subscribe at usps.com for delivery notifications. I have that on for me as well. That's for free. You get an email. They actually scan in your mail pieces as well. And it tells you when a package comes, right? Ours says Octane, that's the ShipStation solution we use when we ship something out. Or if you order from Amazon and it says Amazon on it. So you should, yes, watch out for the hatching eggs when you order them in the winter time or in the summertime. It doesn't really matter when. You should watch out for them that they don't sit overnight in your mailbox. We, as a farm, we do our best to get the product safe to you and in a good quality to you, but you know, we can't hand deliver it, and we can't ensure that it's not in a freezing mailbox overnight, so you need to watch out for it. And I guess for most people watching this right now, this makes complete sense, right? But I wanted to put it out there because every once in a while I get interesting messages. So yeah, think about it if you're one of those people sending these messages. Yeah. Now, it's in there. I'm happy about that. Now, less talking, more thinking. We need those red connectors in here. Here they are, in a T form. All right. I already tried it out with one here to see. Obviously, that's way too far. So they gave you this little small extra piece here as well, which is nice. I'm gonna put that to the side and see if I'm actually needing it. We'll find out. Now, as you see, I don't really have much space here at all. This blue thingy, I didn't cut it out fully. On this one, I figured I'll leave it there, just in case for now. I think I'm gonna cut it anyway. I had once an issue that a small bird on the brooder came out here on this side, so you could technically tape it here a bit if you wanted to. I figured if I do it like that, gives a bit extra protection, but since this is the grow-out cage and there's not going to be any bird below 2 weeks of age in there, so I think they don't make it out, so I think I can actually remove that. Then it looks nicer. Let me do that real quick. So that's one of the prep steps you do as well. And in case those cages are new to you, you see here is also a prep for a cutout. This is because the same system is used on the brooder, where you then can put in here a heating element to keep the birds nice and toasty warm for the first 2 weeks. after they hatch, they should have it warm. So you could cut that out if you use these heating elements to have it as a brooder. On the brooder setup, then there's different doors as well. They are plastic, like see-through, and that kind of protects the birds a bit more from drafts, keeps the heat in a bit better. But these birds going in here today, hopefully after the successful water test, they are big enough. They don't need the extra heat anymore. They don't, yeah, they will be fine in here. So now, this first piece I'm gonna cut off pretty sharply here, I think, and I have wiggle way to pull it. That's good. So that gives me an extra piece already for here. Let's get cutting. Wish me luck. Whoop. Okay. A bit of wiggle way. You can always cut more, but you can't cut less, right? That was simple. I like that tool. I put it here now. No, and it's easy to reach. Okay. I hope it's warm enough in here that this is easy pliable. I'm gonna start with this one, I guess. And how are we gonna do that? Make your life easy, right? Pull it outwards. The position should be nice, that I don't twist too much the hose after. I want to have it look nice. And then I keep pushing it in. Oh, wish I would have a bit more strength today. Wow, okay. Oh. Yeah, you can't write code for that, right? On the computer, I mean. So, show me where AI will help with that. Okay, so that's good. I'm gonna fiddle it into position later. Now that from the top to this piece. Now we have this extra piece, right? And I didn't have to touch this spare one yet. Good news. And I'm gonna measure here, I'm gonna measure here. Yeah. Try not to give myself a manicure. Okay. Yeah. Let's put that over there. Maybe there's a use for it again, we'll see. Okay, I guess I start with the bottom first. Oh, that was easier. And now the top here, to the tank. Mamma mia. Little wiggly woo. Huh. And now the container is empty, then it will push down, it can bend a bit. Looks nice to me, looks neat. What was falling over in here, I gotta fix it straight away. But I do want to do a water test before the wifey gets home from shopping. Present her my results today, right? Okay. I think you get the idea. I'm gonna speed this up for you now. Hold on a second. Need to have a beverage of my choice first. parts. Might become handy in another project, or if I build another one, we shall see. Okay, those green thingy thingies here are then for the grills in front, and those here for connecting the grids. I'm gonna do that after. First up, let's tidy up a bit. First up, water test. So, is the cage in its final position? Let's see. Yes and no. Yeah. Now I think it's in its final position. This is still empty. This is where the chick grower feed goes in. I know it's a bit risky right next to the poop trays, but on this side walls here are closed for the grow out that I like. But on the layer, you might be able to see it or not. I cleaned early on. Sometimes they manage to poop out by the sides. So here is not so much of a risk of that, even though they do manage sometimes to splash out on the sides. So here it's going to be interesting. There's going to be a wall anyway that comes forward. On the other side, the thing I'm worried the most is about the water tank here. The opening is on the other side, so that should be okay. The feed is covered. I just don't want that too much mess gets there. You know, you don't want to get that poop gets into the water. So that is something we're gonna watch. Okay. But this is a good spot for the barrel that it doesn't freeze in the winter time. I could technically put it on the other end of the little quail pot of the shed here, but yeah, fits so nicely in here. I'm able to take it out through the back if I open all the walls up for cleaning, as well as then the layer I can wheel it out. Yeah, I mean, so far so good with the setup, I guess. I know there's a poop tray missing. Let me grab that here. Thank you. That one goes in here. Now, all the electric is here in the back. You might not see that from the camera angle. I normally have it that I can pump up water through my mobile phone, which I'm right now using for filming, so that's not an option, but I did make it that I can manually do it with the plugs, and I can reach it. So let's switch on the pump. There's not much water down there. I hope that's enough for a little test, and let's see if I get the right plug here. I haven't labeled them yet, so I don't know which is which. Ah, I did hit the right one, so water's floating in here now on top. You might be able to see that here. And it drips in slowly but surely. And now it needs to get up here first to this level. And once it's up on this level here, it will trickle down, right? Gravity. And obviously there's air in the system now, so I'm gonna give it a bit more time to fill up. And then start wiggling there, mimicking the birds, what they do to get water. Not sure if I can say that here on YouTube. I'm gonna fiddle a bit around on the nipples of the nipples for the chicks, birds, actual birds. And then the air goes out because the nipples are being moved, and then the water should go down, and I should be able to feel it if there is water in these little cups here. This video gets banned on YouTube, I don't know why. Then I play music over this part. Okay. I have no idea if I should start on top here. I give it a bit more time. There's not enough water in there. Yeah, I could shorten that, I know. But it might expand a bit with the summer heat or not, or contract. I can do that again. Okay, it's full enough on top. Let's fiddle around again. Maybe I stop down here first. Up to here a little bit. Is there any leakage? Let's see. Where the stopper is, it's fine. There's nothing coming out there. I check all the connections, if there's anywhere water dripping, if I did all the connections proper. Looks good to me. Maybe I start here on the bottom to try to get some water in here. Remove the air from the system. Ah, yeah. It's getting wet down here. You heard that honking? That's my wifey coming back from shopping, so that's great. I could use a little break now. Yeah. We have water here. First two levels are good. That's the way I like it. Yep, we got water. And here. Yep, it's there. Yes, now we got water here. The other side I do it on all. There's, you know, 2 on each. Perfect. And it's about a quarter full now here. Maybe 1/3. At the top, still no water yet. Ah, here on the left side, I do have water now. Very nice. And this one here. Yeah. Yeah, now it's gone. Ooh, this water is cold. Anyway, good news. Pump is working. And you hear that signal. Wifey needs help with this shopping. Anyway, I thank you guys for, oops, that was the wrong switch. Not lights off yet. That is on an automatic timer. Oh. Switched everything off. Or not. Now it's off. We don't want to have a flooding here, right? Even though I think I have to carry the shopping in for my wife now. Carry out more water, do a few more tests, and the next time you check in on the channel, I'm gonna show you how we move the birds into their new home and do a few more final steps before they actually can move. So thanks for joining today. My name is Christian still, and I'm still with Unike. Have a good rest of your day. Bye bye.